Morning, everybody. Welcome on this wonderful Sunday morning. Was on YouTube, read a little community post on Clint's reptiles, and I'm not going to say anything bad about Clint in this video. That's not the point of this video. But he recently made a video, and he was talking about pit bulls and how. I didn't watch the video, just by the way, but from what I gathered in the comment section, he used statistics to show that pit bulls tend to be aggressive and blah 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 blah. Now, this is something that I've been very passionate about for a long time, this particular subject. And I'm going to explain to you guys, my subscribers, the facts about this particular subject. Yes, pit bulls can be more aggressive than other breeds. That comes from their breeding. But you could argue the same thing for Rottweilers, Dobermans, German Shepherds, Huskies, many other dogs. The one thing I will say is that there's no such thing as a bad dog. There's no such thing as a bad breed. It's all in how you raise it. Dogs like pit bulls, because they have high energy, high muscle tone, they're very strong, they're very large, and are very protective of their people, their owners, their families. You have to be a lot more adamant, and they require a lot more behavioral training than, say, a lab does, or a spaniel, or any other breed of dog that most people keep as house pets. That being said, a pit bull, with the loving and protectiveness and caring that they show towards their family, is equivalent to that of a golden retriever. And golden retrievers are not a breed that anybody would consider aggressive. They can be on an individual basis. There are dogs that are just more aggressive than others, and that's an individual basis because every dog has their own personality. But everyone always says that pit bulls were bred for dogfighting, and that is very, very much misinformation. That is not the case. Are pit bulls used for dogfighting more than any other breed? Absolutely. That is an absolute fact of this world, and it's sad. But that was not the original intent of their breed. Now, a lot of people will say that they were used for bear baiting or bull baiting, which is also misinformation. They were used for those purposes because their original purpose lends itself to that particular thing very well as dogfighting. They were not originally intended to be used for said purposes. It just so happens that the attributes that were bred into this breed for their original purpose lends itself to those other purposes very well. So they work well for dogfighting, and they work well for bear baiting and bull baiting. I don't condone any of those things, but it's a fact that their breed is very efficient and very good at doing such things, which is why people use them for that. The original purpose of a pit bull was to use in cattle farms. It is a farm dog. They were bred with very strong jaw muscles to be very large and very muscular because a farmer who owns cattle for meat purposes, not dairy farms necessarily, because this is now nothing that ever happened on a dairy farm that I ever worked at. We use ear tags, not brands. But a lot of, maybe not so much anymore, but historically, cattle ranchers out in the Midwest and out west who generally kept cattle for meat purposes and leather would brand their livestock. Now, I'm not talking about the moral ethics of branding, because that's a completely different subject that I'm not going to attest to in this video. I don't agree with branding, but it's not something that I think many people do anymore. But it was something that was very commonplace and very accepted, 100 years ago, when the cattle, historically, is how they were able to tell their cattle from other people's cattle. Just how it worked. Now, a pit bull was bred to be able to grab a bull by the ring in its nose, the big septum ring, the bull ring, to be able to grab on, hold on to that, and hold that bull in place. Or at least get it focused on the dog, so it's not paying attention to the farmer behind it. So that farmer can brand his bull, so that he knows that it's his. That is what a pit bull was originally bred for. Not for dogfighting, not for bull baiting, not for bear baiting. Now, a pit bull works very well, as I said, for those three things. And they're very good at dogfighting because they're very strong and they can be aggressive. They're very good for bull and bear baiting because they're a very strong, tough dog and will fight to the death. There's one breed of dog that I've discovered in my personal research that was solely and intensively bred for dogfighting, And it's a breed that a lot of people are very, very surprised when I tell them. That is a Shar-Pei. Those big, adorable, wrinkly, goofy, derpy little dogs that are very non-aggressive, yeah, those were bred for dog fighting. And here's why. Because of their wrinkles. Because they are so wrinkly and have so much loose skin, when a dog grabs them by the neck, they're grabbing a big bunch of skin. They're not grabbing the jugular. They're not actually getting to the trachea or the jugular vein that will kill the dog. It's just grabbing a whole big chunk of skin. So the dog can grab it, but it can't kill the Shar-Pei. And then basically the Shar-Peis will just sit there and wait, like let the other dog, tire itself out, and then it kills the other dog. That is the breed that was bred for dog fighting. And I've never heard anyone tell me that a Shar-Pei is an aggressive dog. They aren't. They're sweethearts, just like pit bulls. It's all in how you raise them. Let's flip the switch here. Are people inherently evil? Are people inherently aggressive? Are people inherently violent? Are people murderers? I'm sure that you have many answers to that question. And the answer is yes to both. They both are and aren't. All in all in your upbringing. A person who is raised in a violent and abusive household has a tendency to be violent and abusive themselves. It's no different with dogs. If you abuse your dog's going to be aggressive. It's going to be aggressive towards other people. Here is an example of a pit bull that went from being the biggest, sweetest, derpiest, most sweetheart dog I've ever met to being aggressive. And I'll tell you why. And the reason why was because of the owner. I had friends about 10 years ago. Had a little pit bull named Conrad. He was adorable. He was big and derpy and, all the positive, wonderful things that people love about pit bulls. He was always friendly, never bit. I mean, he would nip, but it wasn't like it's a play bite. Now, that's the one thing that people don't understand. There's a big difference between nipping somebody, which is just mouthing their hand, or they're mouthing them in play, and as opposed to an aggressive bite. So these people, they had this dog for a long time, and run around the house, whatever. They were reptile people, so they like snakes and different things like that. Nothing wrong with that. So they got an iguana. A 6.5-foot green iguana. Massive thing. Now, iguanas can be aggressive. Reptiles, as a rule, bite more than other animals because they're very food-oriented. It's not that they don't like you and they want to hurt you, it's that they think you're food. They think your finger is food or your hand is food. Or they think, I wonder if that's food, let me bite it and see. That's just how they work. There's nothing to be upset with the animal for that. That's just how they're wired. That's just how they interact with the world. Snakes, they interact with the world through their mouth and their tongue. That's how they inspect and tell what things are. So they get this iguana, right? Let the iguana have full roam of the house. And they put Conrad in a cage. They put him in a kennel when he's inside. Because they don't want him to attack the iguana or whatever, blah, 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 blah. In my opinion, if you worried about that, don't get a fucking iguana. Sorry. And you know me. Me and Katie are big reptile people. Katie would love an iguana. I personally don't. I'm not a big fan of iguanas. I like snakes and gator dragons and different things like that. But I would never personally want to have an iguana. So I go over one day, and the iguana's out, and Conrad's in there, and I'm like, fuck the iguana. I don't give a shit about the iguana. I go right over to the cage, and I'm like, hey, buddy, Conrad, how you doing? I stick my fingers in there to try to, scratch behind his ear, and he nips at me. And it wasn't a play nip. It was an aggressive nip. And I turned around and looked at my friend. I was like, you need to get rid of that iguana. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, dude, your dog's aggressive. I said, your dog's aggressive because you've been locked in this fucking cage all day. I'm like, you're going to end up having to put this thing down because he's going to bite somebody and they're not going to be the way I am. I said, if he just bit me, he goes, oh, I'll fucking beat that dog. I'm like, no. First of all, don't beat your damn dog. That was a big issue with this guy, that he was very much physically abusive to this dog, which I didn't realize until after this whole iguana thing. I didn't realize that. But yeah, he did not treat that dog very well. And that explains why when this whole iguana situation happened that Conrad became aggressive. And it wasn't because the dog was mean, because he's a pit bull, because his owner was a dumb shit. And his owner didn't take care of his dog properly. Any dog can be aggressive if it's treated improperly. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you right now, there are 2 breeds of dogs that are the most highly aggressive breeds in the world. And they're dogs that nobody ever reports getting bit by because of their size. The two most aggressive dogs I've ever come in contact with, and that most people say they've ever come in contact with, are Chihuahuas and Dachshunds. And because they don't weigh more than 15 pounds and they can't really do a whole lot of damage to you, people tend to not report when they get bit. But let me tell you, if you scale up a Chihuahua or a Dachshund to the size of a pit bull, you'd have a very, very dangerous dog. And that's a fact. It's an absolute fact. But that's it for me, guys. I just wanted to put my little 2 cents about this pit bull. And I'm not saying anything against pit bulls or anything against Clint, because Clint used statistics and he used factual information. So you go and watch his video, you will get the proper information. There's a lot of people who were saying, you know, getting mad at him because he was talking about pit bulls in that way. And it's like, he's not saying anything bad about pit bulls. He's just stating facts. But those facts exist because of poor dog ownership, not because of breed aggressiveness. But that's it for me, guys. I'm the Cranky Yankee. I hope you guys are all being safe and all having wonderful with this light of everything going on. I hope you guys stay safe. Remember to wash your hands all the time. Every time you use the bathroom, wash your hands. Every time you touch a door handle or you shake someone's hand, actually, I would recommend not shaking hands. Do the elbow thing. That's what we've been doing at work. Elbows. I am not shaking nobody's hand right now. My son's at risk. But that's it for me, guys. I'm the Cranky Yankee. We'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe, and I love y'all.